In this TDL profile, we talk to Karl Miller and Kiki Stockhammer from the Star Trek tribute band Warp 11. Welcome. Thank you for beaming down. I can't do it. I can't do it.
It's all right.
Just use rubber bands on your fingers.
Yeah, that's what our guitarist does, because he can't do it either.
So tell us a little bit about how did the band start? Where did this come from?
Well, the four of us have been playing together in various bands forever, since we were, in high school. And I think we did all the bands. Everyone kind of goes through phases in bands, and we did the same bands that everybody does. We did the Battlestar Galactica band, we did the Buck Rogers band.
Beady, beady,
yeah,
beady.
Beady, 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 catchy.
That was one of our favorite songs.
We did the Star Wars band. It never really gelled for us. And then one day on a lark, I think it was Brian, the guitarist, said, "Hey, why don't we try like a Star Trek band?" And everything just clicked, because there's so many words that rhyme with Spock.
Sure.
As opposed to Chewbacca. Really, what do you got to work with?
Or Luke. I mean, you've got puke that rhymes with Luke, so who wants that?
Then you're done. Obi-Wan, come on. What are you gonna do with that?
It's a tough one.
So I don't know exactly what this means, but you don't fit my preconceived notion of a Star Trek band.
In the early days when we would play,
oh god,
yeah, it was always the same. We'd show up in these bars, and the bartender, our kitchen, would be like, "What in the hell?" Because we're wearing our uniforms. We got the crew in the uniforms. They're like, "What the hell's going on?" And they all think the same thing. They're thinking nerd band. I get it. They're going to be a bunch of geeks, right? It's a nerdy band. Okay, I can deal with it. This isn't just about. It's not just about Star Trek. It's about sex, drugs, and Star Trek. And even if you're not into the sex and drugs or Star Trek, you're probably into one of the other two.
That's why we coined the term sci-fi, sex, and rock and roll for Warp 11.
Very cool. Now you're going to be playing at Macworld this year, right?
Yes. We're very excited about that.
Now, is that an all-ages show? What's the set list look like for that?
But with Battlestar Galactica and their invention of the word frack, that has helped us out tremendously.
It really has. And a lot of times I've heard that people, like they want us to play like a convention or something, and they'll say, but I'm really worried because you guys we're a rated R band, and lyrically, certainly we get into that a lot. But as Kiki was just saying, frack. Hey, frack this and frack George Lucas.
But also just to finish that first question, there's a lot of Star Trek fans that absolutely love us, and they have told us that they have petitioned the Star Trek convention people over and over and over to try to get us in more
like
than we
into
already are.
the big one in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
We have played a couple of Trek conventions. We did one here in Sacramento, and it went over really well. But then, right when we finally got in with what is it, Creation? I believe they're called Creation. Do the really large Trek conventions. Right when we got our in, they like switched internal management, and now it's like starting all over. They're like Warp 11. I don't want to go to heaven as long as they have Vulcans in hell. What are they singing about again?
They want to stay with the safe top 40 Star Trek bands. I understand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or just horrible bands in general. I don't know if you've ever been to conventions, but for the most part, there's a sheer lackluster of anyone who's got
when they get a band, they don't get bands that have anything to do with sci-fi. It makes no sense. Why are you having just any band play a sci-fi convention when you could have an actual sci-fi band that knows sci-fi and loves sci-fi? So, what are you going to do? At least Macworld finally figured it out.
Now, obviously, both Star Trek and Apple and both have very fervent fan bases, and there's a lot of crossover. What do you see as some of the similarities between those two groups?
I would definitely say that people that are into Star Trek and people that are into Apple products are cool.
Yeah, I think that, just for the record, I have LCARs running on my iPhone. So it's all the crossover has already begun. In fact, I'm pretty sure once in a while when you do see a really close up on the panels on the Enterprise, on the they call them LCARs displays, you can see a little Apple logo at the bottom. I think I've seen it. They cut away really quick, but I think Apple is all about making things easy to use, certainly in the computer world. And the Enterprise bridge is the same. And
have things look beautiful. I mean, the design element is always really nice. And let's face it, in Star Trek, the consoles of how you operate anything on the ship is basically
It's
just
an iPhone.
like your iPhone today,
Just a little
right?
more powerful. Just my iPhone can't actually fire a phaser or a photon torpedo.
Well, here's the lightning round for you. I'm going to give you
Okay.
a gadget, and I want you to tell me which Star Trek character would be most likely to use it.
Okay, hold on. Let me practice. Bones. Go.
Okay, easy one, the iPhone.
Bones. No. Sorry, Kirk.
Black.
Because Kirk Enterprise, right?
Exactly.
Are we right or wrong on these? You're gonna
There's
tell us?
no. It's just there's no right or wrong answer. I don't.
Okay.
BlackBerry.
Spock,
Really?
because he has black hair.
No, I disagree.
Oh, who then?
I think Scotty is more likely to be a BlackBerry dude.
Okay, I'll give it to you.
How about a Wii?
Worf, because he has the batleth and it's a very
Yes, that makes sense.
very into it.
He would be entertaining to
Very
watch
kinetic.
playing the Wii.
Oh, he would break the TV. He's one of those guys that would throw the control. You know.
Of all the characters, who do you think would have the most interesting Twitter feed? Go.
Odo.
No.
Yeah, because he could talk about turning into a formless blob to sit in bucket again, and then next one would be just got out of the bucket, feeling tired, might go back to bucket.
You know who I'd say? I'd say Beverly. I'd say Beverly, just because she's a hot redhead. They never let her get wild. So
No.
I know what redheads are like. So I would assume that on the back end, if she were to twit, she would definitely have some fun.
No,
things
I'm
to
changing my
twit.
answer. It's got to be Kirk. It's so obvious I didn't see it. Nailed blue chick last night, working on green chick.
Yeah,
right?
that's
nailing
true.
orange chick this evening. Might nail pink chick for lunch. Can I pimp our latest album just in case someone wants to know?
You
Our
sure
newest-
can.
I don't want to go to heaven as long as they have Vulcans in hell. It's 13 tracks of the greatest Star Trek rock and roll you'll ever hear.
Yes.
It's our best work to date, I think.
You can find out more about the band and their Macworld performance at warp11.com. For thedigitallifestyle.tv, I'm Ryan Ritchie.